Welcome to the new podcast show, The Truth with Dr. Ruth. Join us in the chat room as she shares her personal stories and thought-provoking discussions on various topics. Feel free to explore these podcasts and join the engaging conversations. Invite a friend to our discussion that goes beyond conventional narratives, fostering a community where truth and understanding prevail on the podcast show, The Truth with Dr. Ruth. See you there.
The history of Allendale Plantation, St. Peter, Barbados. Nestled in the lush landscapes of St. Peter, Barbados, Allendale Plantation stands as a testament to the island's rich agricultural heritage and complex colonial history. Established in the 17th century, Allendale was part of the wave of sugar plantations that transformed Barbados into a leading sugar producer in the Caribbean. The plantation's name, derived from the family that owned it, reflects the intertwining of local and European influences that shaped the island's development. Throughout its history, Allendale has witnessed significant socio-economic changes, from the reliance on enslaved labor to the post-emancipation era, where the plantation system evolved in response to shifting labor dynamics. Today, it serves not only as a historical site but also as a reminder of the resilience and struggles of those who worked the land. As we delve into the history of Allendale Plantation, we explore its role in the broader narrative of Barbados, highlighting the legacy of both its agricultural production and the cultural heritage of its people. Allendale Hall, St. Peter, Barbados. Built circa 1720, for Colonel William Tyrrell, 1674 to 1735, William Tyrrell and his wife Rebecca Spire lived at their old plantation home, which was noted for its array of Palladian windows and charming individual character, and is haunted by Mr. Tyrrell, who is buried in the coffin-shaped cavity in the cellar. In 1674, the owners of this plantation were William and Secunda Brown, who 6 years later sold its 100 acres and 60 slaves for £1,700 to Captain Michael Tyrrell, elder brother of William Tyrrell. By the time William married Rebecca Spire in 1698, he was styled of Cabbage Tree Hall, his brother's property that had since passed to him. He rebuilt the house and named it for the double row of cabbage trees, also known as royal palms, that lined either side of the drive, until torn down by a hurricane in 1780. Cabbage Tree Hall and the ghost of William Tyrrell. The house built here by William Tyrrell replaced an earlier one, evidence of which is in the 17th century cellars. But his ending here was not a pleasant one. In 1735, he reputedly slit his own throat in one of the servants' rooms, and it's thought that the coffin-shaped cavity in the cellar contains the lead coffin in which he is buried. Since then, rumors have circulated that he can still be heard ascending the staircase and opening doors. After the death of his parents, William and Rebecca, Major Joseph Tyrrell 1713 to 1755 took up residence at Cabbage Tree with his wife, Sarah Brace. Their eldest son, the Reverend William Tyrrell 1741 to 1796, was the next to make his home here before it passed to either his son or nephew, Edward Brace Tyrrell 1787 to 1849, by which time the plantation had grown to 220 acres worked by 105 slaves. In 1804, reflecting the value of the sugar trade then, Edward sold Cabbage Tree Hall for the enormous sum of £29,250 to James Maxwell, a merchant at St. Michael. He increased the plantation by a further 75 acres and added another 10 slaves, but the value of sugar plantations plummeted during his 12-year tenure, and in 1816, he sold it on at a considerable loss for a comparatively paltry of £15,000. The Allens of Allendale Hall. The new owner, Sir Reynold Abel Alleyne, renamed the old house Allendale Hall. He had grown up at nearby St. Nicholas Abbey, where in his youth he was remembered for riding his horse up the Chinese Chippendale staircase in pursuit of a woman. Alleyne was not a stranger here. His grandmother, Mary, was a daughter of Colonel William Tyrrell 1674 to 1735, the first owner of the plantation. In approximately 1830, Sir Reynold Alleyne built a new staircase into the attic and added gabled windows into the hipped roof for the purpose of creating more bedrooms. At about the same time, he also put up the stone arcade veranda that fronts the north facade, noted for the dripstones which purify the rainwater as it falls for drinking. Arlene's son, Sir John Gay Newton Alleyne, helped bring the plantation into order before leaving Barbados for England. There he pursued a career as an engineer and is remembered for designing the roof at Street Pancras railway station in London, which was then the largest steel surface ever built. By 1895, Sir John was long settled in England at Chevin House in Derbyshire, and Alleynedale was put up for sale in the Court of Chancery. From Chancery to Chandler. Alleynedale was purchased by the Chandler family, the sons of Andrew Boyce Chandler 1815 to 1877, whose family had come to Barbados from Scotland in 1638. It was Andrew's third son, the distinguished Sir William Kelmont Chandler 1857 to 1940, K.C. M.G., who took up residence here with his wife, Ella Jones. A former president of Legislative Council, he is said to be the first Barbadian to be knighted, twice. It was at about the turn of the century that they added the supporting buttresses seen on the south facade, the Nortons and Alleynedale farms. In 1950, the widowed Lady Chandler and her children made the decision to convey Alleynedale, which now encompassed 701 acres and another family property, to Alleynedale and Portland Estates Limited, of which they were the directors. They continued to live here up until the end of the 20th century, when it was sold to husband and wife, Guy and Gail Norton. The Nortons have done an excellent job with Alleynedale, not only rejuvenating the house to its former splendor, but also creating Alleynedale Farms Limited. This beautiful plantation is well known for its 200-year-old sweet lime hedge, a washing pond never known to dry up, presumably a natural spring, and the tallest mill wall on the island. It also was one of the only plantation houses that had its own school built within the house for the private educations of their children. It's also known to be haunted by a man who can be seen at times walking around the plantation or looking through one of the upstairs windows of the mansion. When my father managed that plantation and lived there, my daughter Melissa would stay there with my parents during the week, and I would collect her on weekends. She would always say, "Look, Mummy, that woman is smiling at me," and would be pointing to a window upstairs, but I never saw what she was looking at. My mother and sister would see strange shadows and a man looking through one of the windows with a pensive stare through one of the windows on the upper level of the mansion. There was a tale that 2 people committed suicide at the plantation. One of the former owners sliced his throat and is buried in the cellar, and another subsequently took his own life and was buried at the 4 Crossed Roads. I hope you have enjoyed this rich history of our country Barbados and the haunting tales beyond what we comprehend. Thank you for listening. Also, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Therefore, you would not miss out on new content. And whose truth? No other than Dr. Ruth.